It's a revolution. It's a It's a revolution. It's a
Hi, this is GWire90 and I'm doing another gameplay review this week. We're going to be reviewing Anomaly as the map, and the submitted video for this week is from Trials of Osiris. So we're going to get started with the video here. The loadout that he chose for this map is Ice Luna with the Icebreaker, which is a very common loadout in this meta, and he chose to use a Night Stalker.
Them out.
So let's see how it goes here. So first off, this opening gambit that he uses, he comes right with one of his team members. One team member decides to go out on the left to grab a different angle. His teammate jumps off left right through this doorway. He comes into his entrance and stands in this door and snipes this angle. Well, he'll do this quite a few times throughout this video, and I don't necessarily like this play. The reason I don't like this play is, one, he's in the middle of an open platform here. He's looking in one direction, and this direction does not tend to get a whole lot of traffic through this doorway. So when you're sniping, especially on a map like Anomaly, when there's so much open space and so many different angles and routes people can run, you're going to want to try and snipe a high traffic lane. Yes, B table is heavily populated, but the areas of B table that are hot populated is the back ramp and inside both of these rooms, room 1 and room 2. Sniping this doorway, you're probably not going to get a lot of movement onto B table until a pick has been made. So you'll see him snipe this angle quite a few times, and I don't think this is necessarily a very good choice. So after sniping this angle, the one benefit of him coming here that I did like to see right off, but I think I'll be eating my words in a second here, is that he didn't go to the 50-50. And I do believe he goes there in a second though. So he doesn't get any angle. He sees gunfire coming from B ramp, which would have been a better angle to cover because that is a very good, or a very popular opening gambit for people to go and head glitch B ramp. So sniping from where his teammate went is generally going to get a first blood a lot easier. So now he comes in here and he goes to the 50-50. If you're going to a 50-50, I always advise people not to, first of all, especially as an opening gambit. People are expecting you to be here. We see red on his radar. That means somebody is across on the other side right now. They're probably hard-scoped this lane. And we see right now, he slides around the corner. He does have somebody hard-scoped. This person, it looked like they were moving a little bit. I don't know if they were strafing in their hard-scope. But either way, this guy was in position before he was. We saw him on the radar, and he gets sniped. His team gets the kill. One of his teammates is dead over there. He might have been able to play that res since that person traded as well. Or he would have been able to better support this teammate on his push. But he was enough of a distraction that his team was able to get the kill, so it turned out well in their favor there. But sniping that 50-50, you don't want to be walking around that corner, sliding or jumping. And I noticed he does correct his mistake there
All enemies have
later
been
in this
eliminated.
video. So, round 1 win for them. Round 2.
The advantage
Open
is yours.
gambits is something that I'm going to be picking on a little bit in this video because I noticed it's something that he's pretty uniform with or repetitive. Once again, he goes to this spot. Once again, out in the open. Once again, sniping this low traffic zone here. Once again, we're getting shots from head glitch on B ramp towards his teammates that are sitting up on perch. So they're already in the action, and he's got no angles down here to support anything. So once again, he goes back up to the 50-50. This time, he shade steps around, which I like that. He also saw that he has the glint from a sniper there. At this point, this 50-50 engagement, he knows they're hard scoping. He knows where they're hard scoping from. He could sit around this corner and verify it as well. But he has the advantage. He has now turned this by shade stepping around that corner. He's gotten information on the enemy. They know that he's here, but he has information of exactly where they're hard scoping from. Exact same spot as last time. He can turn this into an engagement in his favor with his sniper. By sliding out, doing a slide snipe, or pushing up on the engagement like he does here. So he sees that his teammate pushes up, As soon as his teammate comes in here, this is a great opportunity for him to come through this doorway and support his team. So he had two choices here. Slide in through the doorway like he did, or if he knew his team was going to be pushing up there, once his teammate goes in this door on this push, he could have counter-sniped. And he would have had a great opportunity to pick off the sniper at the other side before even pushing up here. So either were great choices. It was just a preference at that point. I also don't have any callouts or anything in this video, so their team capture audio from the party was not playing, so I don't really know what was being said, so we can only really speculate there. But I'm still saying that was a good play. His opponent was focused on his teammate instead of being focused on him, missed the sniper shot. They have advantage for 2v1 to push this engagement. Meanwhile, their teammate got the other bodies down, which was kind of a solo queue for those. They collapse. Nice pinch. One comes from this side, two come from this side. Well executed. Very good play all around.
Take this moment in. You earned it.
I also want to note, so far in this video, he hasn't used, we're 2 rounds in, and he hasn't used his grenade or his smoke, which is his most powerful tool as a Night Stalker. I noticed in these first 2 rounds, you can see that he's pushing to places that are low pressure zones. He's not going to get in the gunfight as quickly as his teammates are, and that's why he hasn't gotten any kills for this game either. He seems to be playing a more passive role and playing supportive to the other 2 people he's running with right now. That's not a bad thing, but I think I would have liked to have seen him play a little more aggressively in this video to be able to capitalize on getting more kills and to be a more active aid to his team. So once again, opening Gambit, runs through this door. Both of his teammates are going left now. So now he's playing a flank position. Because he's not sticking with his team for the team fire and getting angles, his job as a flank position is to let them draw attention and for him to sweep in for a free or easy kill. But he's going back to this platform. Once again, has no angles from down here. But he snipes it anyway. Once again, we are seeing shots being fired. B ramp. So this is the 3rd round now. He knows that they've been going to B ramp every round. I would have liked to have seen him actively seeking an angle, especially being the flank player, because his team's going to the same spot, playing a flank role to get an angle on that B ramp somehow. Which he does here. And jumping up here now, he does have, his teammate is with him. They've got one on the ramp, and there's somebody behind them. Jumping up here is a dangerous play. He's now positioned himself out in the open, up on B table, between 2 people. That's a pretty risky move. The 2 of them are able to push in on this kill. He kind of hesitates at the back of this ramp. I would have liked to have seen him push more aggressively, because at the point that your teammate is getting first fire shots off, you're not going to get hit running around this corner. So you need to be getting into a position to be able to have the same shared target as your teammate to provide team fire. Because your team at this point has your cover fire. Getting around this corner is not a bad move. So you want to be able to do that as quickly as possible to prevent your team from trading. But the movement was just a little bit slow there. He does get the kill shot, he gets the cleanup, but it is a trade that they do. If there was another enemy like that, if that enemy had been in a better position to push more quickly, he would have been in a 1v1 situation. It would have been harder for him to grab that res. And as we see, even though he caught them off guard, he's still very, very low health. And if he didn't have that overshield from that res, if there was like that teammate came around that corner like a second sooner, he would have been dead. And they would have had 2 bodies down and trade for a res. So getting into position really quickly to help teamfire and be a support to your teammates is really important. And I think a lot of that comes with confidence, being able to push confidently around a corner to be able to provide supportive fire.
Weapons down. This fight is over.
And the way he's been playing here, I think to some degree, maybe he felt more confident, or maybe throughout this card, his teammates were playing a little more aggressively than he was and actively seeking those kills, which maybe another game has caused him to play this a little bit more of a passive role. Maybe he got some great snipes from the position, but I'm just not seeing it in this game. And I think percentage-wise, this is not a high traffic lane that he keeps coming back to here. He's not going to get the first picks. In this event here, I believe it's this round, sniping from this angle is a good choice on heavy round, because now he is controlling, this is the one round I would say this is a good place to come to. He's controlling the heavy box. What I don't like about his setup right now is that he has no radar for quite a significant amount of time. So if anybody is pushing up on the left, maybe he would have team calls for it. Once again, I can't really tell for the sake of this video, but relying on your own radar is huge. So I do not like that he stays scoped in this long on a doorway, because the only thing he's going to get is if they're running straight through that doorway, and a lot of more skilled teams probably aren't going to. The other thing I don't like about his positioning here is because he's out in the middle, he does get a snipe area on this doorway, but because he's out in the middle, he's going to be getting a lot of people hard scoping back from this doorway instead of people that are actively running out for the heavy. Whereas if he steps off to the left side a little bit more, there's doorways and stuff that he can kind of glitch in a little bit more, which I think he does in a later round. So now this engagement here, he sees the guy, he fires his first shot, and he misses. This guy, you can see it through the wall here, is still hard scoped on this spot. This guy, because he didn't back off from the engagement, is going to stay standing, hard scoped, waiting for him to come back in. This is an engagement you do not want to double peek at the same angle. If he were to crouch and peek back, or slide back, or even slide up the stairs to his right to get an angle back on the other doorway, actively seeking a new angle, especially on maps like this, is very, very important, which comes in hand with being a more aggressive sniping playstyle. But he double peeks that round, he strafes kind of in and out. If you watch it back here, kind of strafes out, he gets picked, because he's strafing back into the same line of sight. They grab heavy. Once again, I would love to have known what some of those callouts were for things like that. He does a nice shade step off the res. Excellent tactic for getting out of sniper lanes. That's an unfortunate grenade. Let's back up here now. When he comes back in this area, I think he's aiming for here with his grenade. He sees somebody on radar, which is pushing up. But he also sees that his teammate is right there. So throwing this grenade where he's trying to throw it, not even where it lands, but where he's trying to throw this grenade, blocks enemies from pushing off of him, but it does not support his team in any way. I would have liked, instead of seeing him pull back here and throw a grenade, to have been in there, pushed up, and supporting his teammate in his gunplay, instead of waiting till his team is all dead before he pushes out. So now he's got no grenade, but he does have a smoke. And when he places smoke here, once again, he throws it on this angle here, leaving, it's not a choke point in any way, it leaves all of this other open area. Nobody's going to run through this smoke. This enemy here is already too far back to be running up this angle, so this is ultimately a failed smoke. He's in a 1v3 situation, all of a sudden has no grenade and no smoke, which is a bit of a problem, especially when he's going to push back. So he's got two enemies down, and they have a res down there. This right here would have been an awesome engagement. I would have loved to have seen him kept his grenades for this. This is where he should have been peeking around this corner, casting a grenade out on this wall, or this wall, depending on where he sees his opponent. His opponent's down there, so a grenade on this wall pointing out through here would have been perfect, or on this wall pushing through to him when he covers for his res. Because when he goes down here, he could put a spike grenade on this wall, smoke on the body, at which point nobody can push him on close range, and if the smoke is actually just outside here, it's closing off the one channel to him. Whereas you can see his smoke over there is not doing anything anymore. So making sure you save your abilities and use your abilities for a part in the engagement where it's going to be beneficial to you. This person wouldn't have been able to push up and kill him the way that he did. He would have been smoked off, he would have been grenaded. If he even came around that corner, he would have been dead before he knew what happened. And he wouldn't have been able to get meleeed. He would have also had that smoke as a cover for anybody sniping through there, that he would have been able to kind of slide back, slide through to even start the res, and start primary firing while he did res. And that could have turned that engagement back into their favor. So making sure you're not throwing abilities as a panic reaction and making sure you're saving them for when you're going to need them. So here he switches things up.
If your
He
team
pushes
can keep
off
this up,
new gambit.
victory is assured.
This is what I would have liked to have seen him doing a little more frequently throughout the rounds, is alternating and changing up your initial opening plays. Changing up your plays makes you more unpredictable, and on a map that is honestly a really big shotgun map, or a really good competent sidearm map, when you're pushing into the middle areas like that, it's easy to control. When he's using a sniper, he wants to play the outskirts, and he wants to play actively, moving around, getting an angle, catching them off guard as to where he can grab a pick from, instead of going back to the same places. So now he's scoping out where they've been head glitching this entire time. That was a good play. Instead of peeking around this corner though, because he does see radar on his left and his center, instead of peeking the corner and looking back, he might have wanted to have crouched around that corner, because they have been hard scoping for a while. At the same time, his teammate is on the right side, so chances are they've been going there every round. They would have been focused on them anyway. This play here, he now has a split. Somebody's shooting him from right side, because they've got no angle on this left one, and he's also got people on his left. His team is behind him. His teammate gets picked off, meaning he should be focused on B-box, because that's the only angle they would have had from there, unless he got a call out from his team that they were sniping across here. So focusing on B-box, he does. He's got gunfire coming along from his left side, as you can see, and his radar is getting heavy on the left. In this engagement, disengaging is probably your best choice, especially since he has no grenade and he has no smoke. Disengaging from this, stepping back because he's being rushed from both sides, he doesn't stand much of a chance in this engagement. But he tries to fight this guy while he's getting pelted from the left side, and it doesn't work. As you can see, there was a doorway right behind him. I would have liked to have seen him shade step back into that doorway to disengage and force them in through this tunnel, at which point him and his teammate could have grabbed a better position to fight that engagement. As you can see, his teammate ended up doing. So if they had have both gone back in there, they'd be fighting a 2v2 right now instead of a 1v2. And his teammate did get 2 people down. All he would have had to have done is been around for that last kill, or an easy res even in that room. And his grenades and smokes might have been charged to cover these bodies, which would have been nice as well. So getting back, making sure you play your life in situations like that. If it looks like a failed effort and you're being pushed from 2 sides, just get out of there. So he goes this left side again, which is good. And he switches things up now. So now he's going to play a different angle than his teammate, because being on that perch didn't work well for them. The fact that all 3 kind of pushed this direction and 2 of them pushed right back out on that perch, I wasn't super happy with their choice in that, but that's kind of beyond the scope of this video. Now, he's pushing through here. He gets a glimpse of red on his radar, so he knows that they're on the other side of this tunnel. This is a dangerous tunnel to push out through the way he does here, because if they're at the bottom of this tunnel and they're pushing in, you're going to get grenade spammed, and this is a long hallway that you have to run back through in order to get back in. I would have liked to have seen him slow this engagement down a little bit, especially since his team is not pushing with him. If all 3 were pushing up, they might be in bad territory for a Nova Bomb or something, but if they pushed up a little bit more together, at least looking in the same direction that he could bait people back into this tunnel, it would have been a lot better of a move. But he plays it well anyway. He gets a couple hits off the guy. He realizes that there's 2 there now, because he shot 1, this guy popped around the corner through a grenade. Shade steps off into cover, and that's a great play. Disengage while he's able to get the drop, because that other guy would have had first shots on him, full health to full health. They would have had the advantage still, because there's 2 of them. So he's got his supercharged, and he makes a play with that. A very good super. He capitalizes, he kills the 1, and has tether range on the second. He finishes up the primary. He's got 2 bodies down. Now, he's got red radar right in front of him here. His teammate is off over here where the red is, and there's a body behind him. He's got 2 bodies in front of him. This is his control point. He does not want to leave that red dot in between his, or basically give that red dot clear access to these bodies, and he's the only one near them because his teammate is on the other side of the red. He turns back and grabs the revive. This is where you're in a 2v1 situation. You've got control of both bodies together. I would have liked to have seen him group up with his teammate, and I don't know if the call was different, and it's hard for me to gauge, but based off of what I know from this engagement, I would have liked to have seen him push through the revives and support his teammate instead of trying to play for the body. Because by playing for the body now,
Guardian down.
his teammate doesn't have support, he loses his 1v1, which could have been an easy 2v1 for the win. He does get the revive, but along with the revive... Oh, he does self-res. Okay, I didn't notice that the first time I watched through. That's what happens. But even still, they would have known that they were playing against a self-res, so his teammate trades on the 1v1. One of them self-reses. By self-resing and not being by the bodies, having a sniper angle on them or whatever, they get 2 revives, and they've got a supercharging back at them.
Guardian down.
So, there's a Nova Bomb goes off there. I think that was from his teammate, but they trade from a sticky grenade. Yeah, his teammate Nova Bombs him, they trade because of a sticky grenade. He's back into a 1v2 situation now. This spot right here would have been an excellent spot for a smoke or a wombo. Aiming this grenade, I know it's just probably a panic moment. He was probably trying for this wall, which would have been an awesome grenade placement. But right now he's standing out in the open, and he knows that they're running back for the body. Big smoke, he gets the kill. So that's a great engagement. He plays it really well. He engages at low health, which is a bit of a risky move, but because he knows they were smoked, they were probably disoriented, and he gets some 2 great kills there. If he had landed that spike grenade, that was a perfect placement for it. That spike grenade would have killed them both running through the doorway. They would have got to the smoke, and they would have been done for. He probably would have been able to play for the res. So very, very well played at that point.
All enemies neutralized.
So all in all, that was a really good round for him.
You've got match points, Guardian. End this.
Once again, coming back to this engagement, he is supporting his teammate as his teammate kind of warriors through here, but he stops at this 50-50 while his teammate goes up. Or not this 50-50, sorry. He stops at this kind of out in the open lone engagement while his teammates runs up for the thing. So he's done this 3 rounds now, I believe, and hasn't even seen... He's seen a head once and died to the sniper, and that was only because of the change in engagement for heavy round, but hasn't got anything. So coming back to this point is... I'm a little bit disappointed with that. So he's playing really passively here.
Guardian down.
It seems like he's in a little bit, and actually quite a bit of these engagements, he seems to lack confidence with his engagements. He's very passive when he's rolling around corners and things like that. And even there, he's not up with his team playing for the fire. He's kind of waiting for a hard scope for somebody to come into view, which costs his team their lives in quite a few engagements. Just being there and being able to support his team would have been better off there. He does get the body. His grenade, when he threw it, let me get the rewind here a little bit. When he throws this grenade, he throws it too low, so it lands on the floor instead of on the wall. If he was using a void wall grenade, he would have been a better engagement there. You gotta make sure that when you're choosing spike grenades are ultimately useless if you can't throw them right. So you need to make sure that you're practicing with them and making sure you're landing those on walls, not on the floor. That also might have been a very good opportunity for him to have smoked off that other side. Did he have his smoke charged? Let me just rewind that before I go through here. So he does. He has his smoke charged. It might have been better to lead with his smoke in that engagement instead of the grenade. Leading with his smoke would slow them down and block off that wall better based on where the placement was, and the grenade would have been a good follow-up to it if he did get somebody smoked. So now he turns around and pushes back here, but he's pushing back into somebody, and he's abandoning both of his orbs. In this situation, he has one in front, one in behind. He would have been better off pushing through, fighting his 1v1 for the sake of controlling those orbs. But he pushes off here, and it's just... the 1v1 just doesn't go his way.
Stand up. Unleash your anger in the...
That play, partially though, I can't be too hard on him for it, because I think a lot of that was the fact that his teammate continued to go to that same perch every round. That's why this comeback is happening. has to do mostly, I wouldn't say with gun skill or anything like that, it's mostly because of their opening gambits. The other team is being a lot more unpredictable than they are. Once again, his team is back at that same perch. They do love the perch. And he's in this engagement that hasn't rewarded anything for this game so far. His teammate is pushing up to the 50-50 with the sniper, which kind of concerns me, but nothing really happens, so they're okay. He does see a bullet fly past, so this engagement here, he made this mistake in the first round. He sees a bullet fly past. Oh, I didn't went quite far enough. When he goes up here, the bullet comes in that doorway from room 1. That bullet right there just flew past here. That to me says somebody is hard scoping in the other side. You can see the red on the radar, and that's what they were doing in the first round when he got picked off here. The second round, right after he got picked off, he learned his lesson. He shade stepped around this corner, but once again, he's back to slowly peeking this corner. And you can see the way his strafing and his sniper is kind of bouncing up and down, and he's strafing. He's not going to be super comfortable with his target acquisition. It's not a firm, swift slide or strafe around the corner. He probably would have got picked off if somebody was hard scoping there again. So he pushes up here.
Guardian down.
So right here, he throws his smoke. They're all outside. They just got to pick on his teammate because both of his team weren't playing passively enough, and he maybe overextended himself. So they weren't playing together for team fires or anything. This team is baiting them back in. He throws a smoke here. Would be great if he was baiting someone through this doorway. I would have liked to have seen him slide up and shade step back, or even just try to pull somebody through this doorway before placing the smoke to either cut them off from the retreat. But throwing a smoke here, even if somebody was kind of on that edge, it's going to catch them for a little bit of damage. They're going to back up in their two teammates, and it's not going to do anything. So ultimately, this is a wasted smoke. And as a Night Stalker, your smokes are probably one of your most powerful abilities. You want to be translating those into kills, or at least damage or disorientation for controlling map. This doesn't control anything for him. I would have liked to have seen, instead of that smoke there, if he had a call out for his teammate to push up for this orb, they could have slid down that stairway and blocked off the other low door here with a smoke. That would have been awesome, because then it would have forced them to channel through this doorway, at which point he can throw a spike grenade in here or on this wall if he's down there, and he could channel them into his grenades. So you can use them as opposing forces in map control. Cut them off from the door that they want to get in because that res is on the inside, and block them off with a spike grenade for extra damage as they come funneling in behind you, because it's the only other quick route they have to engage if they're going to prevent that res. At which point, you can also see that they're a little bit spread up on the radar, meaning one person is on the orb, but there's still two people that are outside, clearly by that special. So if he did throw that smoke there, that would have been his opportunity to slide through and use his team to support that, maybe fight a 1v1 or a 2v1 or a 2v2 down in that corridor, because getting from that special down around that corner into a good engaging position wouldn't have been quick enough that they would have had the res and they would have been able to fight full strength with overshields to fight that down engagement. So good, perfect use of shade step around this corner. He sees a sniper bullet fly through. He shade steps around the corner, grabs his primary out to try and primary fire to throw back a sniper or whatever. Great movement around that doorway. This is also a great grenade placement. Love this grenade. This little cubby here is on this back wall here. Perfect place for spike grenades because it closes off that entire hiding spot. Nobody's in this side of the room yet, but he does see radar over there. Closing it off there means anybody running into that room either has to come out into sniper range if they've already pushed too far, or they got to push back into a grenade. And that's what happens. And we also saw that there was a body right there. So he is also covering. He probably got a call out from his team saying that there's a body down, or he saw it when he went here. Throwing his grenade there, covers that body with a grenade, at which point they cannot play that res. Perfect grenade placement. And he gets smashed, which is unfortunate, but I don't think there was necessarily much he could have done there for that. But he gets tags on the grenade, and it causes an opportunity for his teammate to push through, get a shoulder charge kill, and play for the res. That was also an excellent maneuver on his team's part. Don't play through where you just got killed. By pushing around, he is separating. Maybe there was a 1v1 over there, but he's separating the two of them between your grenade. Perfect flank position. and he does get the shoulder charge kill for it. Great play on his teammate's part as well.
Guardian down.
They
Last
get the other
Guardian
kill,
standing.
and that's the match for them.
You take these small team drills seriously. It's admirable.
So, all in all, they did win the game, so they did play the way that they needed to in order to get that victory. The biggest things that I would say that he needs to work on, I guess, is grenade placement and learning when you are using your grenades and your smokes to capitalize, making sure that you're getting kills from those. There's a few rounds that they were just kind of wasted, and then he didn't have them when he needed them, and that he could have had better grenade control or map control through his grenades so that he can actually push an advantage, making sure you know what you're pushing for. That leads to the second point, is being more active in trying to control the pace of the game. He played very, very passively, kind of waiting for opponents to push him, waiting for engagements to start happening, or waiting for his team to make that move, which makes him a good supportive player if he can push the engagements faster and be there for his team when they do push those. But it doesn't create that lead play that a lot of people like to play off of. It wasn't getting first picks, and it wasn't putting himself into a position even where he could support picks if his team was getting him. So I'd like to see him more actively, if he's going to play into that supportive role, and maybe that's the way he's comfortable, that's 100% fine, but make sure you're playing in to support the teammates so that you can see where their picks are, you can provide team fire. That center of that doorway where he kept going in the beginnings of the rounds wasn't providing anything for anybody for that game. He had great super use. I would have loved to have had audio callouts and stuff like that to see exactly what was going on in the gameplay, but I didn't have any of that. I would also like to say that his opening gambits could probably use work. So by opening gambit, I mean actively saying when the round starts up and spawns in, you all rush out of spawn. What am I trying to accomplish here? What has the other team been doing that I can counter, or what have I been doing that hasn't been working, and what can I change to make sure that I'm actively seeking kills? Looking for those first picks, especially running with a sniper rifle. Being a more aggressive sniper requires you to be a little bit more all over the place, making sure you have good radar awareness, and you're pushing up into angles that are a little more creative and cover high traffic areas. So anyway, that's all I really have to say for this video. So GG's to them for winning the game, and if you would like to see more gameplay reviews or even have your own reviews or own gameplay reviewed, definitely hit me up on YouTube. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. I really appreciate it, and it helps support me. And I hope to catch you guys next weekend for the next gameplay review. We'll see what we're doing when it comes up then.